William Morrow and HarperAudio present The Museum of Lost Quilts, an Elm Creek Quilts novel by Jennifer Chiaverini, performed by Christina Moore. In celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Elm Creek Quilts series, this novel is dedicated with gratitude and affection to the many loyal readers around the world whose enthusiasm and support for my work through the years have made this happy occasion possible. 1. The cab driver chose the scenic bypass from the Elm Creek Valley Regional Airport rather than the more direct route through the downtown past the Waterford College campus, adding a few winding miles through rolling countryside to the trip, but saving at least 20 minutes. Summer's rural Pennsylvania hometown barely qualified as a small city, with a seasonal population topping out at about 50,000 when the college's 15,000 undergraduates were in residence. Yet even now, in mid-June, Waterford's main streets would be bustling with students, faculty, and staff strolling and biking between campus and the quaint shops, sports bars, and trendy restaurants in the downtown district, slowing traffic to a leisurely amble, ideal for sightseeing, but not for getting anywhere fast. And now that summer was so close, she didn't want to delay her homecoming a minute longer than necessary. She wasn't looking forward to explaining why she had returned to Elm Creek Manor so unexpectedly, but at least she knew everyone there would be delighted to see her. She would be even happier to see them. As soon as her mom folded her in a warm embrace, the heavy burden of worry and self-doubt that had been weighing her down for months would finally begin to lift. When her longtime friends and colleagues gathered around to welcome her with hugs and fond teasing, she might forget her troubles entirely, at least until one of the Elm Creek quilters asked her what she was doing there when she was supposed to be back at the University of Chicago getting a head start on her doctoral studies. Then Summer would admit the truth, and her friend's joy would abruptly vanish, confusion and disappointment clouding their faces. She couldn't bear to imagine it, so she quickly returned her focus to the cab driver's conversation. Waterford was not such a small town that everyone knew everyone, but degrees of separation invariably ran in the single digits, and they had soon established that Summer had attended middle school with the driver's niece. He updated her on the local news, not that there was much of it, aside from the town council's recent announcement that a generous benefactor had donated 50 acres of wetlands to the Waterford College Arboretum. The driver was so caught up in his story that he didn't slow down as they approached Summer's turnoff, a barely visible curve of brown on the edge of a dense green forest. Almost too late, she realized he was about to sail past the turn. "It's here," she interrupted, gesturing to the solid oak Elm Creek Quilts sign marking the T intersection, 4 feet wide atop sturdy support beams, angled to be clearly visible to traffic from both directions, with beautifully carved letters freshly painted every March. "On it," the driver replied, quickly spinning the wheel. Summer instinctively clutched her canvas backpack closer to her side as the taxi turned sharply off the highway, swinging wide onto the grassy shoulder before swerving back onto the road. Behind her seat, her suitcase slid across the floor of the trunk and struck the side with a soft, dull thud. Fortunately, the only valuables she carried were made of paper or fabric. "Sorry about that," the driver said cheerfully, raising his voice to be heard over the rattle of rusty axles on the rough gravel road that wound through the leafy wood encircling the Bergstrom estate. "I've been taking folks out this way for years, though less often now that they have their own shuttle. But that turnoff always catches me by surprise." "It's easy to miss the sign," she said diplomatically, although it wasn't really, except at night or in a heavy fog, conditions that were not currently impairing that clear, warm, sunny day. "If you say so," he replied wryly, grinning at her in the rearview mirror before promptly returning his gaze to the road. That was fortunate for them both. The road was so narrow that if an oncoming car suddenly appeared, one of them would have to swerve off onto the shoulder or into the trees. Occasionally, the Elm Creek quilters debated widening and paving the road.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?